And welcome back to Talkin Spit After. We're your host, TJ Ban on Poe, back once again with the latest and greatest. Hey, I don't know how many times we have to say this. All we do is connect with people that we grow with, those we might know, those we don't, those we see in passing. But today we have a special, very, very special guest who's coming to our town June 25th at Deja Blue. Make sure you guys go out there and support.
It's her town too.
Correct. Her town to our town. That's what I'm saying. Our town.
Okay.
So, hey, round of applause for Vanisha Evans. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me, friends. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, it's funny because you sent us a message on Instagram and you wanted to be on the podcast. And it's funny because I recognized you as far as like, growing up. You were always a class ahead of us, but I knew who you were, but it's funny that you didn't know who we were. So it's just weird now that we're, collaborating and doing this.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really connected really. I think I had my little small group. And and I was really focused always on music. So I just had a small group of friends too. So I wasn't really connected at that time.
And then shout out Mr. Hanley, right?
Yeah, Mr. Hanley. Yeah. I don't know if he's still around in the area. He was at Carmel High School the last time I saw. But I don't know if he's still there or not.
Yeah, because T, like at King, you had to take music, right?
Yeah.
So Mr. Hanley, he was a music teacher. So
yeah, I remember Mr. Hanley.
You do?
Yeah.
But
what did you guys play?
I tried the saxophone.
Saxophone, okay. What did you play, Alan?
I played a trumpet, and then I moved to the baritone.
Okay. The baritone sax, or is it the baritone horn?
The horn.
Oh, okay.
The bigger one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's funny because you were in those classes too. But Mr. Hanley had his favorites in the front.
Yeah. Well, I was in the advanced band right away in sixth grade. So I started at actually at Orteris, and I started playing the clarinet there. And actually, I have to say this story because I really wanted to play the flute, but my dad was like, "We already have a clarinet in the family, and it's free, so you're going to learn how to play this instead." So that's how I ended up on the clarinet. But I tell my students all the time, this is before YouTube. And in sixth grade, you didn't have the time in your schedule to play in the advanced band, but I was well enough to participate. So I had to be pulled out of like some English class or something to participate in advanced band. And then I was actually in a practice room all by myself my whole sixth grade year. So I didn't even take music class with anybody. He just gave me a book and sat me in the room and said, "Here, learn this." And I did. You teach yourself. And then in seventh grade and eighth grade, then I was in the advanced band, and I was playing first clarinet for most of the time. And
that's hard. Wait, so you got credits for just being in a room by yourself and learning how to play music?
Because everyone had to take music, right? But I was too advanced to be in the regular class, and he wanted me to be able to participate in the advanced band. But I wasn't quite good enough to play in the high register. So that's what it was. I was playing the bass clarinet at first in sixth grade. And then when I finally, learned how to do the high register and over the break and all that, then when I was in seventh grade and it was part of my schedule, I participated in the band.
So it's kind of funny because there's been some talk about lately on Facebook. We're all old, so we tune into that. There was a post from a friend of ours, about the best school or the best athletes, and Heightened was the majority what people were talking about, right? So,
Well, yeah.
probably maybe 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Okay. Highland
What about
Elementary?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
that's my
Well,
school? That,
that's where you guys went to Highland?
I don't,
No, I went to Orteris. So,
Yeah, I went to Orteris too. And I would go and I would walk after school because they would sell ice cream. And I would go buy my ice cream and then, take my time coming home. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
they used to sell ice cream and someone used to make like a caramel kind of popcorn with like syrup or something on it, put in a brown paper bag. Do you remember that? It was delicious.
Was that too?
Uh-oh.
It sounds familiar.
I know.
Remember that.
I totally forgot about that though.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I started getting into caramel popcorn because of that. Because I was like, oh, how do you make this? And then, yeah, and then actually, a lot of my friends who knew I like to bake and stuff a lot, and then I had like this recipe of caramel popcorn, and it wasn't I would have to make batches and batches of it so I could share it with my friend. Um, yeah, I remember making it for a party for my I don't know if you're a mutual friend, Dorothy Folson. She goes by DJ. And I
Yeah.
remember she had a party and we made a couple batches of popcorn and some cookies or something. Because they loved it that much. And
Yeah.
that's what they know me for. It's the cookies and the popcorn.
So why didn't you go into business and selling it?
You know what? I did for a little bit when I was in like college. I was trying to make a little side money. So I did have a little business called Brown Sugar Sweets. And my and a girlfriend of mine, we were like making pies and cookies and stuff like that. And the guy I was with at the time would just like go up and down the building and sell it to people and take orders and stuff. So I did. Too much work though. I don't do that.
I feel you. All right. Well, so now everyone's kind of comfortable. Now it's really time to get into the real conversation.
Hmm.
So, two P's in the band. What is it? What is it that you guys are doing? What is the difference compared to other bands?
Well, we're two people, which is pretty normal, but there's not a lot of people who play, at least in this area, who play the piano. And, they usually play the guitar or they're like an acoustic group or something like that. And I'm playing piano and singing vocals. And then my partner is playing hand percussion. And then that's also very unique. Usually someone plays a drum set, or something like that. And, he's got congas and bongos and all these other auxiliary instruments. And so it's a different kind of, groove, a feel to it. And then I have a very classical background, but I grew up listening to a lot of everything. Um, and then my partner Tony has been performing in a lot of like Latin salsa um, bands, and he's actually from Panama, so he's got all this kind of alternative than the traditional like music that we listen to on the radio.
Mhm.
So we're combining those two energies and really, playing, I think, all the music we love and listen to and enjoy. For us, over a certain age, yeah. But we're adding our own interpretation and twist to it. So it's still familiar tunes, but with a different twist to it. Mhm.
More pizzazz.
I hope so. I hope so. I think we added a lot of fun energy to it.
Interesting. So, oh, I'm sorry, T. What were you saying? So, I was wondering with doing music from different backgrounds, different areas of the world, what are you finding is the most congruent, or what do you find is most similar between all of the sounds?
That's a really good question. Um, the sounds I don't think are the same, actually. There's different tonalities that you have. So like jazz has a certain tonality, classical has a certain tonality. I classify my sound more as a neo soul kind of tonality. I play a lot of Stevie Wonder. Michael Jackson went in his like I would say the past Dangerous album, where he's getting into a lot of and into just the unreleased stuff that Michael Jackson have is a lot of neo soul kind of flavor to it. And I grew up listening to a lot of Michael Jackson and Motown. So that's my tonality. And but it's very different. So like for example, we do a song called Girl from Ipanema, right? And everyone knows it as a certain way and it's got a certain flavor to it. But when I first approached the song, because I learn all the songs by ear and I just write it out how I want it actually.
Right.
And when I wrote it out, I heard it in a different tonality. And so that's how I play it. But when he comes and he adds more of the rhythmic aspect to it, he's staying true to the forms of the rhythm. So, whether it's samba or salsa or merengue or whatever it is. So that holds, I think, the integrity of what's familiar to the song, but I change the chords and the sounds a little, just not too much. I mean, you still can follow along,
Right.
but I think that's definitely what makes it more unique.
Are you
Mhm.
remaking songs or are you yours?
I would say, yeah, we're definitely reimagining, reinterpreting the music. I stay true to the form and the integrity of the song itself, but like, especially now with I'm doing, I think I've learned the whole catalog of Stevie Wonder right now, and so we have a song that we're doing, "Bird of Beauty," which is like one of those unreleased cuts that no one really knows about unless you're a diehard fan. And I'm we're doing a lot of stuff on the vamp and we're having fun with adding the rhythmic elements and really bringing out more of the samba that's inside of it so that we're having a playful time with the music too, and then it gives a chance for the audience to dance and groove and enjoy it. But it's definitely reimagined. If you were to listen to the original recording, you would recognize the music itself, but you would definitely say, oh, she's added her own twist to it.
So as you're listening to older songs or you're trying to reimagine or reinterpret,
Mhm.
what are there any key sounds that you guys are pulling from the original music to give that familiarity? Or is it just, I mean, just like, oh, I like
Mhm.
the sound, so we're gonna run with this? Or is it gonna be something that once people hear it, they recognize
Mhm.
what it is?
I think it would depend on the song. So I'm classically trained, and so I grew up reading music and following it exactly as it is on the paper, right? That's what you have to do when you play in an orchestra and an opera. So when I approach a song, I I hear it exactly like that in my head. Like I can press play and hear exactly every single thing that's going on in the song in my head. And so, but I only have 10 fingers. And so I'm trying to incorporate as much as I can within those chords and that style. And for forever, I've been playing by myself too. So I've been trying to, you know, add some sort of rhythmic element to how I'm playing, but also keep in the main part of the song so that you could follow along. And then, of course, the melody itself is already going to be, exactly the same. Maybe, I'm going to vocalize it a little bit different or something like that, or make it suit to my voice. Um, but that's still gonna hold the integrity of the music so that, like I said, when you listen to it, you're like, oh yeah. So like I'm doing Rock With You, by Michael Jackson. And you definitely will, hear all the key points of the song. And I'm trying to add it all with the only the 10 fingers that I have. But I think we hit all the main points of it.
Like,
Mhm.
so you're two
You know, I can't hear you very well.
now.
You're kind of going in and out. Go ahead.
Okay. Testing, testing, testing.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. So when you're choosing, or what makes you choose a song? Like, do you feel it out, or is it just
Uh,
something that people quest from you, or I don't know?
hmm the songs come to me. So
Okay.
it's usually something that I've experienced or I am experiencing. And then a song comes to me and I need that song in some sort of way. Maybe I need it to for my own healing, or it's just someone will say a line of something. I'm like, oh, now that song's in my head and I got it. And the only way to get it out is to learn it and to play it and to perform it. So that's how I have now hundreds and hundreds and stacks of music that I've written starting from the pandemic. I think I mean, there's hundreds of charts that I've written by ear. It's kind of insane. Um, and and so I just listen to the divine and she's given me that song for a reason and then I learn it and then according to the venue that we're playing at, then I kind of oh, okay, I'm looking for this groove, this kind of vibe, this kind of energy, and then we'll select those songs appropriately for that.
So
Mhm.
you guys, I'm sorry, specifically trying to find certain venues that fit your form of music, or are you trying to just incorporate or just go into any venue and make the crowd understand and love your music?
The latter, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll go anywhere where the money is green. So I'm just trying to make some money. I got two boys, some hungry two boys that I'm trying to feed. So, and I'm just, and I'm trying to establish myself as, as a musician, in this capacity. So, I'm open to play anywhere and everywhere. And so, like, we played at a wedding last month. We played for, there was a TV show that they were doing a pilot show, and we were the live band for that. And then we played at like a country western saloon 2 weeks ago. And so I played Jolene, and I did Whatever Happens, the song by Michael Jackson that he's done with Santana. So, we just kind of, I've got so much variety of music that we can just, and then we just do what feels fun at the moment. Mhm, mhm.
That sounds like reading.
What was that?
I said that sounds like reading.
Uh, I hope so.
Well, you always hear about the label, or you're under a label, you're launching this and that. And they want to. Just sounds kind of actually super fun that you get to pick what you want and make it your own and do it. It sounds like free, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's what music should be. It should you and art in general, it's just an expression of ourself that we are, trying to share with, the audience and with others. Um, and that's what I'm trying to do too. I had received my message many years ago that I need to stop playing to an empty room. Um, and so I followed that message and it's still very scary. But I'm trying to step out of that comfort zone and just put myself out there and try and hopefully people enjoy it and receive it. And so far they have.
That's kind of a great point you made. I was worrying about that too. So pretty much you guys set up venues or you guys set up shows, but you're pretty much going in there blind, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
I know there's a fear of not, I'm sorry, a fear of the unknown. So
Yes.
what is it you guys do as far as like trying to calm yourselves down to make sure or realize like, hey, we got this. We can rock any crowd. We can rock any show.
Yeah. We practice, that's all you got to do. You got to keep practicing. You're always working at it. I'm still teaching, so I'm in music. I live and breathe and work music. And I've been very privileged my whole career to be able to do that. And so, and I've picked jobs like that. I picked to work at a school before because they had a grand piano, and I thought, I didn't really want to get back into doing, elementary school teaching, but I love the idea that I could play that grand piano and I did, and I would stay after school and I would practice. And that's what it is. It's putting in the work and making sure I know I'm way over prepared all the time, but that's where I have to be so that
Right.
I'll be prepared for anything that comes up.
Hmm. Wait, Al, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me fine now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
yeah,
there
that's
you go.
better.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
fix it. We fix it. Sorry.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was
Hey,
okay.
it's a work in progress. Everything's a work in progress.
Hey, me too, man. I'm trying to figure out this technology. Every time I turn it on, it changes on me.
Sucks. But hey, it's good, but it sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Next question. You guys are an independent band, correct?
Yes.
So explain, well, this kind of goes hand in hand as far as like this podcast is all independent.
Mhm.
So for those who think that it's easy or they think everything might be handed to them, explain
Yeah.
how hard it is as an independent artist to find your niche, make your way, and then be able to sustain that.
Yeah. Well, I would not claim myself as an expert. I'm barely figuring it out as we speak, but it is, you're putting in all the work and doing all the things. And I'm also still trying to mom at the same time. Um, but you have to be the promoter. You have to be, the graphic design. You got to do the editing after the fact. And I mean, it's actually overwhelming. I'm very overwhelmed by the amount of work that it takes to put in to do anything at all. But I put the music first, and like I said, that's like my heart and soul is the music, and I just love it. And then I just I do that first, and then when I have time to fit in the other parts, I do.
Right.
But I try to keep up, like during the pandemic, I was doing an online podcast show like this on YouTube and stuff, and trying to figure out how to do all the OBS and all the things, and got myself a Focusrite and better mics and things like that. But oh my God, then I'm trying to figure out and the thing is, I went to school for recording and stuff, but that was, don't even tell how many years ago.
Right.
And I actually taught a class. And then now I'm trying to figure it out. And it's just so many things. And I'm trying to use the Pro Tools and stuff. And I put out a couple things on YouTube, but I barely know what I'm doing. Mixing and mastering is not my forte, and I try to watch the videos and do it, but it's really hard. You really need somebody who knows what they're doing. Um, and actually, I have a song in particular that I did to the best of my ability, and I put it out, and they were like, "You suck." I mean, it really hurt my feelings. But I was like, God, you don't even understand, the layers of work that it takes to put into that. And that was my first time too, adding layers on the music. Like usually I just lay down the track and that, as is, and then put it out there. But this time I, was trying to figure out how to do the vocal layers and do a little mixing and the master. And I didn't realize, it sounds different on different devices and things
Hmm.
like that. So I'm learning along the way, and people online are not friendly, and they let me know that I suck. And so, but then my boys listen to it and they're like, I love
Right.
you. So it's really really hard, and people do, they make it look like it's really easy, and then you have people that just use their phone, and but it's a lot of work. I would say it's kind of crazy making. It's really it's kind of impossible. But like I said, there's music is the only thing I love to do, and that's where I'm at in my life, is that I'm only going to do what I love to do.
Yeah, I find it's definitely like like a mad scientist
Yeah.
trying to figure it out and trying to you're trying to give everyone's perception of your vision, but some people don't see it. So
No.
what you were saying makes total sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really hard because as an artist, your heart is on your sleeve. And I'm also a moonologer, and I try to, protect my energies and protect, so that, when I am being exposed to, all kinds of people and, their opinions and stuff. But it's definitely it's not easy. It's not easy.
So
Okay.
you're in go ahead, T.
I don't, I know you're, just doing it. You know me, I got to delve into the, mystical side of stuff. So I'm just letting you get your
Okay.
questions out, and then I'll
All
go
right.
in.
So I kind of want to get so you're into numerology, correct?
Moonology.
Moonology, I'm sorry.
Yes,
So
moonology.
which is on the phases of the moon
Correct.
and then how it affects different signs, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what is the best sign for each moon?
There's no such thing as a best. No, no, that's not how you would approach it. I would say you whatever the moon is, and there is a specific sign that it's under, and that's the energy of the time.
Oh,
So I would not say there's a best of anything. Everything is the best and the worst of everything. It's how you use that energy and what you know, and then move it forward.
okay. So then
Mhm.
what signs attract the certain moons?
Everyone has a sun and a moon and a rising. So everybody is connected in
Okay,
some
do
sort
it.
of way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, everybody is not there's no, yeah, everybody and everything is connected. You're just connected to it, and it gives you it awakens maybe a certain element of yourself.
Mm.
Mhm.
So if you don't mind me asking, what is your sign?
Mhm. Which one? I have a sun, moon, and rising.
I mean, as far as your birth sign.
So that again, so on your birthday, okay, the time, date, and place that you were born, all the planets are and there's like a snapshot of the time, date, and place that you're born. And from that, then it is indicated your particular sun, where the moon is, and your ascendant or your rising sign. And everybody has everything in their chart, but they're in different places, and a different house is what it's called. And depending on that, then it determines how you navigate through your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. And so yes, so my sun sign, which a lot of people know is their sun sign, like, so the day that you're born, that then everyone goes by that, and that's how the others perceive you. My sun sign is Aries. And so, and we are in, so, and even Jupiter is in Aries right now, the very start of it. We're in the start of a brand new generation, a brand new cycle of life. Um, and but my moon and my rising are something different. And so that also indicates and shows you how you feel and deal with your emotions, and uh, how you perceive the world as well.
Hmm.
Mhm. So it's not just one thing. So a lot of people always look at their sun sign too, but the most accurate reading that you can do for yourself is to know your rising sign. And so you can contact me and schedule a reading, and I'll be able to pull a chart and figure that out for you. Mhm.
Oh, wait, this is new.
Yeah.
So are you a medium of some sort?
I am a certified moonologer.
Okay.
So I have been studying and following the moon consistently in every single cycle um, for over 5 years now. And I've always been intentional and been intentional in my what I'm doing and been attracted to the moon in some sort of way, but I never understood that connection. And then I kind of fell into it after I got divorced, and it really helped me emotionally to go through that change, and my kids, and then since I've been on the cycle of it and putting in the work and practicing every single cycle, every single month, I definitely can see and reap the rewards of that, and use it as my guide of kind of taking care of myself so that I can present myself on stage in the world as a teacher, as a mom. So yeah, I'm a certified moonologer. I have received the message that I need to start sharing the practice and at least just teaching people, like everyone's on track, you see the full moon, right? And you're like, oh, how about the moon or something, but that's not really what it's about. And there are certain things that I think every human being does need to learn how to do, especially men. I grew up in a house full of boys. I've got 7 brothers, and I got boys at home, and I think it's harder for them to be able to express emotionally what's going on. And I think it's actually really hard for women because we hold all the emotion in and don't really know how to release it ongoingly. And that's what it is being able to do it on a consistent basis. We got to make the time to do that so that it just doesn't kind of fester and then blow up, and that's what happens. Um, so yeah, so there are specific things that we all could be doing as humans, to set intentions at the new moon, to release it at the full moon, and to sit in the darkness too at the dark time of the moon.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But see, isn't that dangerous to sit in the dark?
Well, it's part of the cycle. I don't think there's danger in life. I mean, there's life and death. It's just part of the cycle. It's something we all have to go through. And once you've gone through it, and instead of avoiding it too, I think it's not about it's confronting it, rather than kind of brushing it over, because that it just accumulates. And I've just learned that sometimes you just gotta sit in the sadness, or you've gotta sit in that feeling and help it let go, so that everything naturally fades away, and then it has time to regenerate and start new again. And that's the cycle of life.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
oh, you're not what we are expecting today, but okay.
Well,
No, we delve in this a lot.
You do.
And
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
yeah,
I mean,
this is the beauty.
great.
This is the beauty of this show is that yeah, we start off on one thing, but
Huh?
when we really start delving into real topics and real conversations, then we'll have those as well. So this is
Yeah,
greatly appreciated for those who.
awesome. Well, and I appreciate being able to share it. I was just saying this the other day, even when I was doing the online show, some of the comments you get, oh, you're making predictions, or you're a fortune teller. And I was like, that is not what this is whatsoever, and it's really just about knowing, knowing that sun, moon, and rising. And I think the more knowledge that then you can work with the energy rather than, not knowing and kind of being in fight or flight all the time. At least know what's up, and then you can move forward. Even right now, I mean, there is chaos in the world, right now. And I'm definitely bothered by it, but I don't think as bothered because us that are in astrology knew this 5 years ago. I mean, we knew that there was a sickness coming with the pandemic, and we knew that we were at the end of this cycle and that there was going to be a significant shift in power for the United States in particular. And how the change of thinking and the way of thinking and technology and AI, I mean, it's all spot on. It's supposed to be chaotic and crazy as we go through a change and things are supposed to crumble and fall and have these tower moments. But you need to shake things up a little bit sometimes when it's messed up in the first place to make any significant change. So it hurts in the meantime, yeah, and people hate change, but we have to start to shed that old way of thinking to make room for the next generation and the next wave of things to come.
Hmm.
That's a
All
great point.
right.
Go ahead, T.
Go ahead, Al. No, go
Oh no,
ahead, Al.
that's a great point because so if all right, if the world's messed up, so you're just shaking it up to be more messed up, and just hoping that some of the particles are good particles. Is that what?
Hey, I'm not the creator. I don't make the rules. Just in it like you guys too, but I mean, yeah. I mean, sometimes that's just how it has to go.
Now I have a question to you guys. I'm saying,
Man, Al, you're just doing
nah, come on, come on,
oh,
come on.
no. It's a tell. I'm going into something completely like it's along the lines of what we're saying, but I want you to get what you're saying before I get up because I'm gonna I'm gonna shift the the
Well,
conversation a little bit.
well, I want you to have that because I have a different
No.
question.
I don't.
No,
No,
I
because
have a different question.
I don't want to come back to like have to come back to your question because you were thinking about it. So go ahead and get what you're gonna say out, and then we'll if we have time, I'll ask you.
You know what? I would rather you ask it first, and then I can ask my second one. I think it'll play better.
Uh, all right. Well, I'm gonna go there then. Okay. So first question, Venetia, does your is it moonology?
Uh-huh. Moonology. So it's like
Okay.
astrology where you study all the
Okay.
stars, but the moonology, you're specifically studying the moon and how it relates to all of the things.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you incorporate those studies or those things into your music?
Mm,
Hmm.
great question.
Do you,
Um,
or is
I
it
don't
helpful in your music, or is it
I don't think it specifically has anything to do with like how I practice or perform or anything, but it
okay?
does guide me when I'm deciding to do something. So, for instance, when I started first performing in public, I was playing at it's a pretty well-known jazz club here in Denver called the Mercury Cafe. And it's actually very wooey there too.
Mm,
Mercury is the planet of communication, if you don't know that. So it was very appropriate. And so when I started performing there, um, he was asking me what did I want the schedule to be? And I was like, I want to play on the new and the full moon. And so and that's when I would show up and be around that time and do those energies. And so for me, like even when I'm performing next week on June 25th, that is the new moon in Cancer. And my rising sign is Cancer. And I don't know what I I prefer to call it the moon child. And so it's the new moon in the moon child and the start of that cycle. And that's when you start new things and have new intentions and start new projects. And this is this journey of me coming out and showing my face to my hometown and performing as a musician that no one has ever seen or heard me as is a chance for me to do that at the start of that cycle in the hopes that I will have some new things be able to come from that. So I plan accordingly to that. And then I absolutely always um, practice at home or have a jam session or do something like that at the full moon as a way just to release whatever pent up energies um, and to release that. And I always do it through music, and that's when I usually just play what I feel, definitely what I feel like for the moment.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So you believe in frequencies, obviously.
The vibrations and frequencies are very important, and keeping my vibrations high is helps me sustain throughout all the chaos that's in the world.
Mm.
Mhm.
So it's
But
more
even
like
in
a,
that, it's very challenging still, though.
so it's therapeutic.
Absolutely, it is my therapy.
Mm. Okay. All right, Al, do you want to do your real quick? Because I'm taking us down the rabbit hole if we're gonna.
Hey,
Hey,
yeah,
that's how I got started. I
just
had no idea I was gonna get all this information when I first started.
keep
I just
going.
went down a rabbit hole too.
Just
Okay.
mine's gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Good. Nothing yet, Al?
no, just keep going.
Oh, okay. All right. So, um, couple things. For one, the story of I believe it's Robert Johnson. Uh, yeah, Robert Johnson, the famously guitar man who went off, couldn't play a lick guitar, and then went off and came back and was able to play the most beautifulest music ever people have ever heard.
Wow.
Um, Now, some people believed he got something from, I say, another power or something like
Okay.
that.
Mhm.
Now, when you're doing music and things like that, I've heard people talk about this that something takes over them or something, there's a feeling
Oh,
and
now you
stuff
get
like
real
that.
personal.
I'm,
Yeah, that's
I,
okay.
I know. I gotta, I'm taking this down there, but I mean, I've heard people talk about it. There,
Mhm.
is there actually just, you don't have to go in depth in it, but
Yeah.
is there a feeling that takes over you when you're performing?
Yeah.
And do you recognize it? Or is it something that's unrecognizable and you become someone totally that, you don't recognize on stage or something like that? Because I noticed there's some
Mhm.
people that do music and then I say they get lost in their music where
Yeah.
you can feel their soul and all this stuff
Yeah.
and when they're
Yeah.
singing and it feels like
Yeah.
something is I
Happening.
don't yes yeah
Hmm.
that's a perfect way to put it,
Yeah.
something's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a truth? Is that an actually feeling that is, or is it just blows all smoke and mirrors, or is it just
I know. And that's where we are in the world right now too. Even with, moonology and astrology, there's always been, oh, that's not the you don't have the hard evidence, it's not backed
right
by scientific proof, so it can't be real, right? But
right
now there are doctors and scientists who are even saying, oh yes, setting intentions is helpful for you. And and all those things. And so absolutely. I mean, we are all made up of stardust. We are all collective energy. We all have a vibration. The earth has its own vibration and frequency too. So it's like, well, duh, why not, right? And definitely when I'm performing, I get lost in myself and into the music. I kind of, um, I've actually lost a significant amount of my sight, and I already had cataract surgery, and so in that, you know, as you start losing your vision, you have that feeling, and so even now when I am playing and my I still get blind, and then so I memorize everything because you just kind of you lose it. And so I have to memorize the things so that when that happens and I can't see anymore, I can still keep on with the music. Um, so absolutely. I mean, and people say that they tell me how, when I sing in particular, that they feel the energy, they feel the connected or an emotion, it evokes an emotion out of you, and that's actually what you want in art and to music,
Right.
is to be able to awaken or to evoke those emotions that we all have kind of pent up inside, and it just wants to be released. I mean, that's the whole part again of that cycle. If we just let it sit and fester, at one point it's like, let me out, please let me go, and so we as artists, are channeling that. And I definitely, like I say, even when I receive the music I'm supposed to play or do, that's what I'm doing.
So
A little bit.
go
Sorry.
ahead, Al.
It's kind of like, how we would freestyle rap back in the days, and I would go for like an hour straight.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same thing. It's kind of
Mm.
like you're so much in the zone
Yeah,
to where everything's just coming out.
yeah,
It's coming out of that person, which you're
yeah,
seeing as me.
yeah.
It's still me, but it's just like
Well, don't you feel like that's the things that was locked up in you too? And you're like, finally, I'm comfortable enough to just let it out and let it go, you
we're
know?
the point you're on autopilot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Venetia, you said, I'm sorry if this is a little personal here, but your eyesight,
Mm.
is that something that was because of, like, say, the bright lights in your eyes at all time, or is that just something that just naturally happened?
I had some trauma
Oh,
over the course of my life, and then the stress of life, I think, probably exasperated that. I think we probably have it in our family in some sort of way, but the doctors didn't never believe me because they're like, "You're too young," right? But there came a point where I wasn't able to drive anymore, so they had to do surgery
okay.
and
Are
do
you
that.
driving now?
I'm still very nervous. So I barely drive. My partner drives, like I would say 95% of the time. But now that's just because of the anxiety of that accumulated from when I couldn't see. Um so so yeah. But I mean I drive, but I do not like to drive at night. It's still challenging, and the lights and stuff are
Hmm.
make it difficult to see.
This is very interesting now. So
Okay.
I've also heard things. I'm just spewing out the stuff. I have so many questions, and you seem like the person that is perfect to answer some of these.
Oh, thank you.
So, um, people with the
Yeah.
senses. Have you gained any heightened senses from this,
Got it.
happening to
Mhm.
you?
I hear like a dog. Is how I describe it. I hear everything. So my senses of sound have definitely were heightened. Um, because you rely on your sight, you can't, so you hear everything. And so that's what I did. I also never could memorize anything. But I was getting to a point I was afraid I wouldn't be able to read my music anymore.
Mm.
So I started to memorize it. And that's when I started really trying to play by ear too. I didn't even know I could do that. And so I started to do that because I wanted to make sure I could still play the music. And I really focused on the piano as well because, well, it's large keys and I could feel my way through it. And so it actually helps me now because now I memorize a lot quicker and I'm able to retain um, lots of
Hmm.
songs. I mean, I still have to review things, and I still can't read small print. I Everything is pretty large for me. Um, but yeah, yeah, you do get heightened. Your other senses get more aware.
So you're like the female daredevil. Well, for those who don't watch Marvel comics, he lost his eyesight, but his senses and not.
Oh, oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, there's one of my children.
Hmm.
This is Preston.
What's up, Preston? How you doing?
He
Okay.
can't hear. I'm on the headphones.
Mhm. Man. So, okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm still delving in the mystic part of this.
Okay.
I don't know if I haven't seen this movie yet, but I've heard of the concept of it, and it's dealing along the lines of what I was talking about with the Robert Johnson guy, the
Mm-hmm.
Sinners movie.
Mm-hmm.
Al, I don't know if you've seen it yet.
Not
What
yet.
is it called? What is it called?
Sinners,
Sinners,
Centers?
sinner,
Sinners, like
Sinners, sinners.
Oh, Sinners. Okay. Probably not. I don't watch anything. If I have time, my kids take over the TV, so or I'm practicing.
well, when they get
Sinners.
older, don't worry, you'll get the TV back. But so it was basically saying along the lines of what I'm saying. It's just I'm just trying because I don't feel I have like I can listen to music and I can it's a different type of thing. I can feel when just like you said, I can feel when is getting lost in their song or in their music
Mm,
because I it gives me that feeling.
okay.
So when I'm in the movie, they was saying how powerful music is and how it can persuade people to do certain things, and and uh, I don't know if it's feeling, but as far as the power of persuasion and stuff like that, when you're singing, you're doing things like that. Do you get to like, are people, does it feel like people are entranced when they're, I mean, when they're watching you, or does it look like, what does it look like?
Yeah.
What do the people look like to you when you're
Yeah.
performing out there?
Well, like I said, I do kind of get blind and I don't really I see the shadows of them, so I don't really see them, but I can sense, if they're enjoying the music and people afterwards, will come and hug me and, or
Okay.
want to talk to me or ask me for more information. I was singing at a jazz jam last week too, um and I was done and they I was going to do one more and they were just like, we want to hear more and you want to give they're like trying to put money in the pot and everything. So I think there's something like that, so because they feel something and they want to have more of that or sit in whatever that feeling is. Again, the art is
Mm,
evoking that emotion, and so when you kind of awaken that and give them the permission to feel that, then they're like, well, can you just sit with me a little bit longer? And and I'm actually really big about that. That was my whole thing, even in the pandemic, is that we're out of touch with each other. Let's even
hmm
just sit with each other, and I did that. I was, I do a sit, that's do a meditation. I'll play for you, and just do that, and sometimes just being present for somebody, without all the distractions, is the most powerful thing you can do.
You back off of Titan's question. So it's very cliche in certain movies where there's like a musical number that's being performed, and the star that's performing, there's always that one spotlight, but then the whole room is dark.
Mm.
Is that the same type of feeling that you get when you're performing? Or
Mm.
are you looking out towards the crowd? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking within. Yeah, I get lost in myself. I try to make my like remember you're still here, but I think because my sense of hearing especially gets so heightened, I'm just kind of listening. I'm feeling my way through listening through what's happening.
Mm.
So I just kind of focus on that sound and sit in that energy and kind of play and move with that. Even is I especially notice it when I'm improvising. and we're playing with people who have never played before, and we're improvising together. We're not speaking words, we're not saying anything, but we're speaking through the
Hmm.
music and having a conversation in that sort of way. And that has been very powerful. Like I said, I haven't played with anybody ever in my life besides orchestra music. And
Right.
I just started to jam with people in the past 2 years, and that has been eye-opening. I first, you never even realize if you even have that skill to do that. And then when you do, and then these conversations start to happen, it is amazing, and that happened to me, and then the other person has to allow it too. So like I've gone to a jam and I'll do a song, and and they'll do their solo and I'll do mine, and they're like, that's it. They want it exactly how the recording is. And then like last week, I performed, we were improvising as an improv jazz jam, and I felt that, he was going to be comfortable enough to let me improv off of what his improv was. He was playing the saxophone. And we were having a conversation in that way, musically. I wasn't even saying any words, but it was very powerful. And we in itself get something out of it, and then the audience gets the benefit of experiencing it as well.
I mean, to the average person like me, it sounds like something is there, some presence. I don't know if it's what, but I haven't seen a jam session in real life, but I've
Oh, okay.
seen uh I've watched it, and this is pretty
Mhm.
dumb to say it, but I watched a video where this dude named Masego and another dude, they were having this jam session, and they recorded it. It's called
Mhm.
Tadao, and they were just
Okay.
filling each other out, and
Yeah.
it turned out to be a crazy hit song. And now I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, like, when you're saying that now, it's just
Mhm.
like,
And that happened. That's happened to me. I remember, and I was brand new. I mean, I still feel very new. I feel very inadequate when I'm showing up to these things, and who are people, that's all they do is improv. But I also
hmm,
think it gives me this advantage to be kind of naive about, what other people are going to do, because then I'm just going off of my instinct and performing in that way. And I have definitely done that. So at the Mercury Cafe, it's it's a jam, right, of musicians,
hmm.
but there's these poets that come up and they read poetry, and we improv off of what they're reading and
Oh,
saying that, right.
that's my shit
That's
right
a is a
there.
whole, and I love it. I never even realized how much I would love it. I'm trying to replicate that, something like that here, um as well. And it's, again, us artists get something out of it, but we, we're learning so much, and learning how to have a conversation without words too. It's very powerful. There is something magic going on.
Definitely.
And I to this day, people still remember one of the improvs I do, and that's actually sometimes I do it as just part of like an interlude or something. It's just the poet gave me the words "sit back, relax," and I just ran with that, and that's the jam,
All right.
and it's really fun.
Hey, T, I love that point you just brought up because it kind of reminds me. So, remember when we had a class reunion, and after the fact, I was like, man, like when you're in high school, you kind of get put into boxes, right? You get put into certain cliques or certain groups
Clicks.
Mhm.
because of what you're doing at the moment,
Yeah.
right? So my thing was, man, after talking to these people who I didn't really talk to in high school, it's like, you know what? Being older, I really would have loved to hang out with them,
Be more open.
yeah,
Yeah.
be more open, or just talk to them. So with the jam that you're saying, instead of them speaking, they're able to
Mhm.
conversate through the music to learn
Yeah.
that person
Hmm.
without having to wait 30 years to say, "Oh, I appreciate what you bring to the table." It's like it's improv. This is who I am, and that's
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But but even in the improv, we're still vibing off of each other. There still has to be some sort of initiate.
Mm,
And at that particular jam, I didn't even realize that had to happen. There had to be somebody to kind of lead the direction musically of what's going to go, and then from there you improv of that. And but I mean, you only learn that through experience. I mean, we wouldn't have learned, to appreciate people back. People definitely didn't appreciate me. They called me a nerd. I was in the band, I think I'm a
mm,
band geek or something like that. Hey, but I was just, my dad worked at the school, so I was trying to be on point because he would have
mm,
my butt if I didn't.
mm,
So, I was just trying to be on task. But we learn as we get older, and I mean, even now, I mean, how what I'm doing musically, I wouldn't have been ready, before, and I've had opportunities to do other things, but I probably just wasn't ready, or it wasn't the right time, or something like that.
mm.
But I hope it's the right time now.
I'm sure it is, definitely. All right. So are we down the rabbit hole or are we still going further?
No, I I
I've
have
answered
a
all your questions.
I have a lot better understanding now.
Okay.
Awesome.
So the reason
Awesome.
why I decided to go last. So when it comes to anything that you're passionate about,
Mhm.
what does love look like in your eyes as far as from what's being received?
What does love look like? Um,
As far as your art form.
mhm. I mean, it's the feeling of comfort that you get from it, you know. I'm really about being grounded is and having a strong foundation, and music is that for me. And so when I need to be stabilized, or if I'm, feeling, very emotional, or I'm having a good day and I want to celebrate, it's always with music. Um, and that's my language. That's what I know. And that's what I've been putting my efforts in my whole life. I mean, anybody that knows me just knows I've always done music, and that's just what I do. For a long time, I was helping other people with their music.
Mhm.
And so I'm hoping now people will also help me with my music. Um, so, and I see my students now, they're the ones that are performing in the area, and doing all the things and playing at Stonies and whatever, is going on. So, and
Right.
I'm super proud of them, because they wouldn't even have had the opportunity, if I wasn't, there and helping to push them. When I was working, in town, I was really trying to help the students, especially at Seaside and King, because they were not the ones being included in the efforts that, these organizations were doing. And and that's what hindered me and my opportunities. My opportunities were cut short because of what the adults were allowing or not sharing with us folks at Seaside and King. And it still hurts me to this day. But so I made that conscious effort to make sure that I was providing those opportunities. And even now, when I'm teaching at schools, I like to teach at places of lots of diversity, and of people who you know who deserve a chance, an equal chance, as somebody who had money, or money for lessons or something like that, but they don't, because of what we just don't know in the first place. If someone doesn't tell you about an opportunity because they think that you're not good enough, or you don't look a certain part or whatever, of course you're not going to be able to get it. But and that really held me back. And so that's why now I make sure I was working in Denver public schools, and it was really challenging, but I made most, I think, meaningful impact with my students in that way.
So,
Giving back.
Hmm. Yeah. When I was in in college too. I started a youth band called the East Bay Youth Band, and that was because I was the orchestra manager, and all the kids got this opportunity to play in the orchestra, all the string players, and then as a clarinetist, there's one and two spots. And then you have like all these other kids who, not because they weren't good enough, it's just because there wasn't enough spots.
Mhm.
So then I said, that's not fair. Let me just grab them and start a group. And that's what we did for like 7 years, started a nonprofit and definitely gave back in that way. And just try to keep that mindset even now. It's not, it's not fair right now in the world, especially in education. It's really a
Yeah.
travesty. And being an educator is the hardest job on the world, but somebody's got to show people that they are worthy, they're good enough, they deserve an opportunity. Because I know if I would have got that, maybe I would have been farther along, at this part of my journey. Hmm.
I know I definitely would have been farther along.
Right?
But
Yeah. 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 We had to fight for that at Seaside High. I remember us staging a walkout. It was ridiculous,
Yeah.
demanding to have adequate education coming from the students. It was
right.
ridiculous,
And normally it's the parents who are reaching out, but
right?
it's the students that are like, hey,
It was the students who were fed up. And my dad had my back. And he worked there. He was like, yeah, you do what you need to do. And that's what we did.
how's that Brandy concert?
Brandy concert?
Yeah, you remember when Brandy came to Seaside High?
You know what? Vaguely, I
Yeah.
don't think I was there.
Yeah,
No.
you remember when I want to say we were
Mm-mm.
probably sophomores and Brandy,
Huh.
remember through Kadon there was like a contest
Okay.
where submitted
Oh,
so
so
many
I think,
authors, whatever.
yeah.
So people left school and went to go Seaside High to watch Brandy
Mm.
perform one song.
Oh, wow. I don't
I
even
didn't know
remember.
that.
Yeah. I think I vaguely, but I don't even, it wasn't probably significant enough. I don't remember it.
Definitely a
It,
question. I just had to ask.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I had to see.
I don't remember.
I had to find out if you were there. All I
I
heard
don't
was she said, "I
remember.
want to be down," and bounced.
Huh. Huh. I don't remember. Yeah, there was a lot going on in high school, so um, yeah.
All right. So now is your opportunity to promote your events coming up.
Mhm.
So the floor is
Yeah, yeah. So please support me and my efforts. I'll be out on Wednesday, June 25th at 7 o'clock at Deja Blue in Seaside, performing as two peas in a band. We got a lot of fun songs that we'd like to share. We got, from fun songs all the way, take it down a notch too, make you feel all the feels. But it should be a lot of fun. Tickets are on sale right now on Eventbrite. They're $10 in advance. I know there's like a little fee that they charge, but sorry about that. And then there'll be 15 at the door, but definitely purchasing in advance kind of gives me an idea of, I'm looking for support. I feel like I don't really have that right now. And so buying those tickets in advance kind of helps tell me that, there's love for me coming back and wanting to share this part of my journey with my hometown and with my home family and my home community. So I'm really looking for, even if you can't come, I know it's a Wednesday night. It's probably the worst night of the, but that's what they gave me and that's what I'm gonna do. And but I know I got to show up and show out. So I'm just gonna, hopefully make my mark, and then somebody will say, and I'll give you a chance and open up some more doors for these opportunities. I'll also be performing at the Embassy Suites on Sunday, June 29th. From there's a jam at 1 o'clock, and I'll be there as some part of the improv, and then I'll be in town for a few more days after that. If there's other friends or musicians that want to, invite me to come sit in or play or sing or do a number or two, I'm open to anything and everything. Just trying to reconnect with the community and, see if they want to give me a chance and put my voice out in the area as well. And show them, a different interpretation of some of these songs that we all love to listen to. Um, and I mean, you don't know what you haven't seen or heard, so I hope they'll give us a chance to entertain and enjoy yourself and have a good time and get all those good vibes, good vibrations.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, go out there and support, man. Like, trust me, me and T talk about this all the time. Um, Support is good.
It is.
It
And
helps keep,
showing up.
yeah, show
Showing
up,
up.
support,
Hmm.
keep going. And of
Hmm.
course, we're doing it for, each other. So
Yes.
why not?
Yes, yes. And I appreciate you supporting me by even just, having me on here today. It really means a lot. So thank you very much for your time and sharing your space with me.
No, it's definitely been a pleasure for us.
Yeah, it was
Well,
a
I can only
great
speak.
conversation.
I can only speak, speak for myself, but I'm sure Titan feels the same way. Before we let you go, are there any questions, anything that might have crossed your mind that you want to ask us?
I can't think of anything on the spot, but if you want to have another conversation in the future, please have me back and we'll talk about it then.
Yeah.
For sure, we will.
Maybe maybe you
I'll
can
tell you
let us
back.
know how everything went with
Oh,
your show
that
out
sounds
there.
that sounds great.
Mm,
That sounds great. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, we're trying to set this up so that we can come back in the future, make some connections
mm-hmm.
now so that, that we have some invitations to come back to town and do this again.
We
So
don't.
hopefully this is just the start.
Definitely, this won't be the finish. Trust me. Big things are
Thank
going to
you.
happen. So, hey, thank you so much, Vanisha Evans, for joining us on our
Thank
podcast.
you.
Definitely
Thank you,
appreciate your
Venetia.
time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you too.
Yes, it was very, very, very enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. You have a great night.
You too.
Yeah, man.
So
So,
everybody in Seaside, man, at this trying, I mean, times are stupid right now. We all see what's going on. We got to get out and we got to be happy and enjoy each other, man, before, it's too late. So get out, support. Go see Venetia show, man. You know what I'm saying? She obviously is doing something good here, and
mhm.
we need Seaside to,
Stand up for,
stand up
oh,
for real.
like,
We
what else?
appreciate what you guys do for us, talking to us and, commenting on the stuff we bring up and stuff like that. So it's time for everybody to start supporting each other.
Yeah. I mean, y'all was out there, this past Sunday rocking with Mr. Fab and La Russell. So,
Huh?
yeah, they were down here on Sunday.
Man, who's Lil Russell, man?
La Russell? You don't know who La Russell is?
Is
Oh,
that the little dude you sent me a song a couple months ago?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not, you sure it's not L.A. Russell?
No, that's what I said. It's La Russell. It's not, it's La Russell.
That sounds like I'm not even gonna say, yeah. Oh man.
Oh, man. It feels so good to be back on here. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Golly.
All right, fuck that shit. I gotta say this, man. We gotta do better, Kev. I'm not saying that because of his name, but I'm just saying, period. We gotta do better.
Well, I mean, but I will say one thing though. Um, Although he's from Vallejo, his message, it's more, let's say, it's less, sorry, it's less Mac Dre-ish. It's more
Party, have
Lamar,
fun.
more Kendrick Lamar, but it's like the West, or not West Coast. It's more like the NorCal beats.
Oh, okay.
So
You get the slaps with the
Positive message.
okay. All right. All right, man. All right, LA Russell. I mean, Lil Russell. I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah.
I would.
As long as
I'm not.
I'm gonna shoot to you.
I wasn't trying to be fucked up on that. I literally like my bad, but I digress. It's been great. Good episode, man. She answered a lot of questions I was having about the music frequencies and if people can feel certain things and you can make people feel certain things. And yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, man.
so,
Like, I'm definitely proud of you because, like, I think this episode you shined because of what was brought up, and then you know what I'm saying, like you perked up, your eyes lit up to where you had questions that you wanted answered. So I definitely enjoyed watching you work as far as asking questions and secondary questions. That was dope for me.
yeah, those were genuine questions out there to I mean YouTube. Those were genuine questions I had, and that's why I made sure to ask her because yeah, her dealing with the Moonology stuff too. That just lit my eyes up even more. I was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, let's go.
Well, see, I was so taken aback because whenever there's a full moon,
You
I
know
don't
what
know,
I'm saying?
I kind of feel different. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they say. Um, some people they be like, oh man, when people be tripping and stuff, they be like, oh, it must be a full moon.
Hmm.
But that's what she was saying too, is yeah, it's a full moon, but there's two type of energies, I don't, she said that, but the good and bad, and you can delve in either one, and that one can keep you there, and that's crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely a trip.
But yeah, man,
I enjoyed it though. That was hard.
yeah, great episode. Uh, let's get this out here out, man. You guys tune in next week, man, because as you can see, the conversations are getting a lot better. And
More involved. We're not gonna just sit
yeah,
here asking superficial or front face
I
questions.
mean, yeah, we're gonna ramble though, because that's what we do. We're talking spit, but at the same time, man, we do want to. We don't want to give y'all turn y'all brains into spaghetti.
Bunch of noodles. The show. Hey man, thank you for taking this journey with me, man. Like it's from here on up. Oh, and please, you guys stay tuned for next month because next month we have something really, really big for you guys. And when I tell you this, I'm not joking about it. And thank you guys for once again listening to Talk Spit After Hours. We're your host, TJ Bain on the Poe. If you like it, you like it. If you love it, you love it. We love y'all. See y'all next week. Peace.
We out.